The rain had started lightly, the kind that barely made a sound on the pavement, but enough to chill the air. The hospital parking lot was almost empty at that hour, lit by flickering streetlights that cast long, uneasy shadows. Emily Carter adjusted the strap of her medical bag as she rolled her wheelchair toward her old, dented car. Her shift had ended an hour late again. It usually did. Being a rookie nurse meant extra duties, fewer breaks, and little sympathy from anyone who didn't know how hard she worked just to stand, let alone save lives. Her disability wasn't obvious at first glance. The wheelchair gave it away now, but most days she forced herself to walk with a brace and a cane, hiding the pain behind professionalism. A spinal injury from years ago had ended her military career before it truly began. Officially, she'd never made it past training. Unofficially, there were things about her past no one at the hospital knew. The low growl of engines cut through the quiet night. Emily froze. 3 motorcycles rolled into the lot, their headlights sweeping across the asphalt before stopping far too close to her. Leather jackets, heavy boots, patches sewn with skulls and flames. The men on the bikes laughed as they cut their engines. "Well, look at this," one of them said, dismounting slowly. "Hospitals giving out valet service now." Another circled her like she was an exhibit. "You see that chair? Must be rough." Emily kept her voice calm. "I'm just trying to leave. Please move." The tallest biker leaned down, his breath heavy with alcohol. "Relax. We are just talking." Her heart rate spiked, but her face stayed steady. She had learned long ago that panic invited cruelty. Still, her fingers subtly tightened on the armrest, pressing a pressure point she'd trained herself to use to ground her breathing. "Bet you're real brave in there," the biker sneered. "Saving lives and all that. Out here though, not so tough, huh?" Another laughed. "Hey, maybe she's got a medal under those scrubs." Emily met his eyes for half a second. It was a mistake. Something in her stare, too calm, too measured, made his smile falter. "You done?" she asked quietly. The bikers exchanged looks. One of them kicked the front wheel of her chair lightly, not enough to tip it, but enough to send a message. "Careful," he said. "Wouldn't want you falling." That was when the hospital doors burst open behind them. "Emily." A young intern ran out, phone in hand. "I called security." The tallest biker straightened. "Beat it, kid." The intern hesitated, then looked at Emily again. She gave him a barely noticeable nod. He swallowed and backed away, already dialing again. The bikers laughed, engines starting once more. "Next time," one of them said, revving loudly. "Be more polite." They sped off into the night. Emily sat still long after they were gone, rain soaking into her scrubs, hands shaking now that the danger had passed. She exhaled slowly, counting in her head. 1, 2, 3. 30 minutes later, she was still in the parking lot, transferring herself into her car with careful precision. Pain shot up her spine, but she ignored it. Pain was familiar. Fear was not. She didn't see the black SUVs at first. They rolled in silently, parking in a perfect line near the hospital entrance. Doors opened almost simultaneously. Men stepped out, not rushed, not loud. Controlled. Alert. Emily paused mid-movement. One of them spotted her instantly. He walked over, eyes scanning the lot before kneeling slightly to meet her eye level. He said calmly. "Are you Nurse Emily Carter?" Her stomach dropped. "Yes." "Were you approached here earlier tonight?" She studied his face. Military bearing. No insignia visible. But she knew that posture. She had worn it once. "Yes," she said slowly. "Why?" Behind him, more men moved into position. Not aggressive. Protective. Another man approached, older, his presence heavier. He looked at Emily for a long moment, then nodded once. "It's her," he said quietly. The first man turned back to Emily. "We are Navy SEALs." Her breath caught. "That shouldn't mean anything to you," he continued. "But someone made a call about what happened here. And about you." Emily felt the past claw its way forward. "I don't want trouble," she said. The older man shook his head. "You already earned respect. Years ago." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, worn insignia. One she hadn't seen in a decade. Emily's eyes widened despite herself. "You weren't supposed to recognize that," she whispered. We didn't, he replied. Not at first. But you used a grounding technique out there. Pressure point breathing. That's not something they teach nurses. Rain continued to fall, but the world felt suddenly very still. Those bikers, the man continued. They followed the wrong person tonight. Emily swallowed. I don't need revenge. The man smiled faintly. Neither do we. We need accountability. Headlights appeared at the edge of the lot. Police cruisers this time. Not hospital security. Real response. The SEAL who had first spoken to her stood. We'll escort you home, if you allow it. Emily looked at the line of men, at the hospital she'd given everything to, at the chair she'd learned to master instead of resent. Yes, she said. As they moved, one of the SEALs glanced back at her. For what it's worth, he said quietly, you didn't freeze. Emily met his eyes. I never do. Somewhere across the city, 3 bikers were realizing their night wasn't over. And for the first time in a long time, Emily Carter felt seen, not as disabled, not as a rookie, but as exactly who she was.